I've got to thank you guys for sticking with me for as long as you have in these, what are we, 8 months into the Tossing Salad podcast? And you guys have seen it go through different iterations of how we're doing the show. And you know that I'm also doing, you may not know, I mean, how would you know? Unless you follow us on YouTube, Instagram, and TikTok, that I also do a second show. It's a live show called Brian and Chelsea Make a Podcast. Basically 24 episodes. It's a limited run series, Brian and Chelsea. And what we're doing is basically coming up with an idea for a show. You guys are watching us brainstorm, put things together. You're watching two people who really don't know each other come together and put together a show. And at the end of 24 episodes, we are going to reveal whether or not we're going to continue with this. Do we have enough content? Are we enjoying this? Is this something that we want to devote more time to and actually do a podcast? And I know it confuses people because we're a live show, but it's Brian and Chelsea Make a Podcast. We're making the podcast on a live show. It's not that difficult. I mean, I know it is. You just have to suspension of disbelief on some things, and bear with us. But we're working on it. The content shows that we're doing have been really good. If you haven't watched those shows on YouTube, you're missing out. And so we do 2 a week. We do a content episode live over the weekend where we brainstorm some ideas. We just did one on it was a serious podcast on cancel culture. Is it even real? Is it perceived? Is it manufactured outrage or what? But then we've also recently done an episode on Love is Blind, that Netflix show. And we were smart enough to kind of roll that into the eternal question of, is love blind? Are we more internal with our attraction with people, or are we more into the looks? We do stuff like that all over the board. So go check it out while we're still doing it. I don't even know if we're going to make it to 24 episodes. We're at episode 15. It's a lot of fun. Go check it out. Let me know if you guys are enjoying that. But on the Tossing Salad podcast side of things, when we're doing the live shows, it's really hard for me to do both shows. So I've kind of thought about even reaching out to somebody that wants to be a part of the production, whether it's with the live show or with Tossing Salad podcast. It doesn't necessarily want to be on camera, but wants to be part of the brainstorming sessions, the editing, the putting the stuff out there on social media, that kind of stuff. Because there's people that are interested in doing things like that. They just don't want to be on camera. And I understand and I get that. And it's a need that I think I have to get. I have to get to, because I can't do it all is the problem. I can't do the editing, the marketing, being on camera, doing the research for that kind of stuff. And you do need people behind the scenes. So I'll tell you what, if you're interested in wanting to be a part of the Tossing Salad podcast family, whether it's on the Tossing Salad podcast side or Brian and Chelsea Make a Podcast, and you're wanting to do things in the creating of the clips, the marketing part of it, all that kind of stuff behind the scenes, off camera, let me know. There might be something we can work out as far as, we're all kind of learning as we go on here. Now, I wish I could say it's a paid gig. It's not. None of this is at this point. But I do feel like if we continue doing what we're doing, we're kind of onto something eventually. I don't know what that is right now, but we are. Just trust me. So this week, great episode. It's another Taylor Swift one, which I know some of you have given me trouble, give me some problems. because either you love her or you hate her for whatever reason. Everybody has the right to their own opinion. But as I say in the podcast at the beginning, we're with our friend Karolina, and she has been on as our resident Taylor Swift expert, but she's also my when I have problems with animals in my garden in the backyard. She's like an expert hunter or something. So anyways, so she's been on a couple shows. That Taylor Swift episode we did, the podcast, #1 show by far by sevenfold. And then her live show where she came on to basically help me determine what took down a deer in my backyard here in suburbia St. Louis, Missouri. That's like, I think, one of my most viewed lives. It's crazy. She is like gold, and I tell her that at the beginning. So you guys will be able to hear that. So this is a great episode. If you're a Taylor Swift fan, if you're not, don't worry about it. I'm not begging you. But if you're a Taylor Swift fan, or maybe you're a middle-aged dad that has kids that are into Taylor Swift, and you kind of want to know what's going on, we're going to have 2 shows. The one we did 6 months ago, go listen to that one, because that kind of goes through all of Taylor's career and all the controversy, and then moving from country to pop, the old Kanye stuff. And then this episode here is going over some of the latest developments with Taylor. Because I got a little worried in a sense that I've been seeing some of this canceled Taylor for some issues. So I wanted to talk to Karolina about that. And some other things that I'm seeing on I get all my Taylor Swift news on TikTok. There's a ton of information there. So if you're into Taylor Swift, you like to have fun, you like hearing about her, or maybe you're a middle-aged dad, you're going to want to listen to this episode. It'll keep you up to date. Keep me posted on what you guys want to hear, whether it's about Taylor Swift or it's about anything else. Tossing Salad, it's a medley of that's what I try. It's a vegetable medley of topics and people that we talk to. It's really hard to sum it up. People are like, well, what's the Tossing Salad podcast? And it's gone through several different, I'm not quite sure at the time. I know where the general direction is that we want to go to. But right now, I think the best way to describe the Tossing Salad podcast, it's a medley of topics with various people. And it's a lot of fun. I invite you to come, I would say every week. We're trying to be weekly, but again, it's hard for me to do this and the live show at the same time. But go take a listen to some of the episodes. It's enjoyable. And then maybe you can help me define what this is all about. So anyways, Karolina, she's here. Okay, we are, I was going to say live, but we are recording the Tossing Salad podcast. And we have Karolina here back again. And I want to basically give you a couple updates on your performance when you come and regale us with your presence on the channel. So you've been on twice. One was our Taylor Swift It's Me episode. And then the second time I had you on, you're also my dead deer expert. And we did a live on that. But today, just before all the Swifties all leave, we're not talking dead deer today. This isn't like a hunting show this time around. This is going to be a Taylor Swift episode #2. And I almost wanted to consider it like an emergency Taylor Swift episode because of some of the things that I've been concerned with seeing on TikTok. But before I say that, did you know that your Taylor Swift episode that you were on, stat-wise, and this is just the audio podcast part, because I do a lot of video clips and I put it out on YouTube and all that stuff, but just solely podcast, audio podcast, your show, when you came on for Taylor Swift, is like 750 downloads, which is the number 2 show that I've done was just over 100. Can
Damn.
you believe that?
The people love her. What can I say?
Well, maybe they love her and you,
I don't know if that's really why they're downloading. Truly not for me.
and you're live with me with my little deer issue that I had in my yard. I think that might be my number 1 live show of all the live shows that I do.
It's really good content. I mean,
You're,
that show
you're
pretty much wrote itself.
you're content gold for me. So I had to
Watch this
ask.
one flop completely.
Yeah, this one here will probably get like 20 people watching or whatever, but it's fine
Sorry in
because
advance.
this has become a new infatuation for me as a mid 40-year-old male that is slow to get on the Taylor Swift bandwagon. Now, our first episode where I had you on, I had you come on and basically just kind of explain Taylor's career from a Swiftie point of view, which I think you readily say you're a Swiftie, right?
Yes, I think I am. But we did discuss different levels.
Different levels. Now, what? Okay, so then just to recap, then what is a Swiftie, and what level Swiftie would you consider yourself?
I don't know if there's a proper term for my level, but a Swiftie would be like the people that are just, really into Taylor, what she's doing, what she's about, in one way or another. Uh, I would like to say that I am not one of the really crazy Swifties, like the people that pour over the Easter eggs and the number things and all that kind of stuff. But I do have interests, so I'm a little more casual, right? If I happen to be interested in something, I might look into it a little deeper, but I'm not gonna like pour over it.
And although you say that, you've sent me several different pieces of information explaining certain things.
Only important stuff.
I know, and I totally appreciate it, and I am having a blast in kind of following this. Now, every time she pops up on TikTok for me, and again, this is why I was like, okay, we've got to get on because I've got a couple things that I have to get explained to me of what's been going on. One is the canceling of Taylor Swift is going around again. And number 2 is this whole security guard thing,
Hmm.
which was all over TikTok, I think last week. I think it was last week.
Yeah, it's
But
when if she was in Philadelphia.
so the Philadelphia show. So before we get into that stuff, I just want to make sure, do we still have, and when I say we, I say you, do you still have your tickets? I think it's for Kansas City, right?
Yeah, I did not choose to sell my tickets. I will
What's
not.
now, are you comfortable in saying how much you spent for them?
I have two seats that I spent just under $1,000 for. And I'm
And
in like the lower section. Like if you were, looking at the football stadium, it's like somewhere in the 100s.
and there's and I'm that sounds like they're really good seats, but there's no bad seats, right? My understanding is she makes it.
Yeah, I would say that every seat is a good seat, but I have heard that some of the people on the floor, the stage does all these like weird light up
Yeah.
things, and there's like
Mhm.
a part where have you seen any of the footage where she like dives into like the water and there's like a hole, like a trap door in the stage?
I've
Like
seen
the
so many
people.
clips, but I haven't seen that.
Okay, so there is a part where the stage looks like water and a trap door opens up and she like dives into it like she's
Okay.
swimming, but the people on the floor don't really get to see that, you know what I mean?
Right.
So
Well,
they
but
get to
then
see her,
yeah.
but they might not see the water, whatever.
Well, that could be a cool thing to where maybe there's some things people on the floor don't get to see. And then there's some things that you're privy to that you get to see that maybe some people in a certain area don't get to see that particular angle. My understanding is she works very hard in trying to make sure her stage is as user friendly as possible, right?
Right. If they
To
don't
where she,
see her do it, they can see it on the TV screen.
yeah. And some of the clips that I've been seeing, because is it the Eras tour, right?
Yes.
Is gangbusters. I mean, she's so many. There was one video I saw on TikTok to where I don't know. I'm making up this number. I don't remember exactly. Like 100,000 people met outside of the stadium that didn't have tickets, and they were just singing the songs. Is
Oh
that
yeah.
true?
Yeah, every show so far, like I think the stats for the last show, which was in her hometown, it was 70,000 people in the stadium and 20,000 people like outside
Oh my
just
God.
listening to it and singing it and whatever. Like they
Right.
turned the bridge purple and it was like a whole big thing.
Again, absolutely fascinating. And I'll tell you the clips that I kind of like watching, my TikTok algorithm's all messed up right now. It was doing pretty good at one point, and then I'm seeing a lot more. I think there's a lot more Taylor stuff kind of creeping in, which is fine because I enjoy doing this. But like I think at one of the concerts, her garter broke or something, so she continues to sing while I think one of her backup dancers is trying to fix her
Yeah.
garter or something. And I'm like, and I know a lot of other singers are able to do that, but it's kind of cool to see when things aren't going right or something goes wrong, how well an artist reacts to that.
hmm
So,
she handles it with grace. I've seen a couple like minor blips here and there, like she can't hear
right.
her sound or whatever, or her microphone's off, but so far so good, I think.
Are you
Nothing
watching?
major.
Are you watching like each one of her shows, like the clips? Does
I
that get you more
try.
excited, or no? You don't want to see
No,
any of it.
I don't want spoilers. I try
Okay,
not to. So I like, can just like live it.
right. No, I don't know how I would want. I I
I
hate
am
it.
following all the surprise songs very
Oh, are you?
anxiously. I'm like devastated. She already played the one song that I wanted her to play.
Which
If I
is
would have
what?
went, I really wanted You're on Your Own Kid to be like part of the main set.
Okay,
It is not.
okay.
So then I was like, okay, surprise song. And they played it in Tampa. Actually, she played that and The Great War, which would have been like amazing. So that's off the board, but there are still like 4 or 5 songs I'm kind of holding out for. Hopefully, we'll see
So
if
the
it
surprise
happens.
songs are songs unique to each city or to each show. You
Every
know.
show has 2 different surprise songs. She plays one on the guitar and one on the piano. So there are songs that are not part of the set list that, she just, it is what it is. Like when she announced that Speak Now is coming out, she played a song from the album. So they like kind of tie into stuff. Like the last one, I think she played Hey Steven because her removed new boyfriend said it was his favorite song when he was at that show. So
Don't mention the boyfriend just yet because we're going to
I
talk about
know.
that. Now, what's the album you just mentioned that one?
Speak Now is
Speak Now. Is
the
that a new one coming out?
latest. That's the latest re-record.
The latest re-record. So that's one that was back when what
That was
Scooter?
back in the day when Scooter, and now she is re-releasing it as Taylor's version.
Oh, so I'm assuming that's on pre-order for you. Are you getting that as a
Dude,
vinyl?
listen, Target just announced today that it is a special Target pre-order and it is a lilac edition. It is like $50 if you're interested.
Oh,
I did not pre-order it. I did not because I'm like, you know what? I like Speak Now, but I think I'm gonna wait. I like 1989 is my favorite, so if I'm gonna splurge, I don't
1989 is
know.
kind of a fun. I,
It's
I
like more, upbeat.
it's upbeat. I think on the last podcast you mentioned you kind of like the more upbeat kind of party
Yeah,
type songs. And there's a few from 1989. I don't know if I would be able to name them, but I can recognize them.
there's some
Um,
bops.
but that is not out yet on vinyl. Then is what you're. Or I'm sorry, that hasn't been
It's
re-recorded.
not re-recorded, no.
Okay,
She hasn't re-recorded that. She hasn't re-recorded Reputation yet. She has not re-recorded Taylor Swift, like the first one, the debut.
okay,
So this Speak Now will be number 3 of 6.
okay. I'll end up getting it. But are you saying should I get the one from Target or is that just good? That's the standard version.
No, the Target one is just like the special color or whatever.
Okay,
And like when it happened with Midnight's, everybody was
Right.
like, I'm buying it. And so like I bought the Target version
Right.
because I was like, I have to have one, whatever. So I bought the Target version, but then later
You got the mahogany,
I got the
right?
mahogany.
Yeah.
After I said I was like, I'm not gonna buy the same shit twice, but I did. And then I bought it on the cassette.
And the
Because,
cassette, right? I remember the cassette. You were telling me about that too.
dude, like how cool.
There it is, right there.
No one uses these anymore. And
Hold that up. Hold that up for just a second.
it's like a
So she's
bluish
holding
tint.
up the Midnight's cassette tape. Is it still in plastic? You haven't opened it?
Oh dude, I don't like I haven't opened any of them.
Okay. So if you're just listening to this as an audio podcast, you're
And
missing out. You
I
need to
brought
see this
something
on YouTube.
else that I
Yes.
forgot to do last time.
Uh-huh. Okay, that looks like it's signed. There's two things signed there. So explain the two things you have that are signed. Again, if you're just listening to this on a podcast, you're going to have to let her explain this to you, but she's got
So
two signed CDs.
last time we talked, I had mentioned that I had not really gone into the record thing, but I did have some CDs that were signed by Taylor, still in the plastic, and I was supposed to send you a picture, and I never did, so I just brought them.
That's great. So are you comfortable? Like, how did you get those?
My friend works in the music industry and is pretty well connected, so it was a gift, actually. Yeah,
You know, comes down to who you know. That's pretty cool though.
sure does.
So if you're just listening to the podcast, you're gonna have to go onto YouTube and go to this episode and just scrub through like to the 13th minute and see what she has signed. So it's Midnight's the cassette. That's not
Yes.
signed, but that's the
No.
cassette. And then what were the two that you had signed?
Folklore and Evermore.
Folklore and Evermore. And those are re-releases, right?
They're not. They're like so before Midnight's, those were the
Before.
two albums. It was the COVID duo.
But that's the one
When-
that she owns, right? Or that
Yes.
that's her own thing.
Yes.
All right. I just want to make
Both of
sure
them
that I'm
are.
buying the right stuff because I think I have those two on vinyl.
Yeah. She will not be re-releasing those.
Okay, good. All right. So I've got those.
Well, actually, I lied. So when we were gonna meet up for Record Store Day, to get the white or the Long Pond session, and that was a complete total failure and disaster. Kind of, but not anymore. She did like re-record the album, and it was like a special thing on Disney Plus. So for Record Store Day this year, they actually released a vinyl of that, recording, and it was so well received that I heard it was rumored in a couple months that they were going to actually repress that for like general public to be able to buy. So
Keep me posted, please. You and I blame myself. You and I were supposed to go out record store day. You and I live in the same general area of St. Louis. We've never met physically, but we're like, you know what? This seems like the opportune time to meet up and go hang out in a line on record store day and get this record. And then for whatever reason, for like 2 weeks, I had a bunch of just crazy stuff going on. I forgot about it until after it was all said and done. I was like, oh my God, I think I just forgot.
yeah, you
So
didn't
did you
miss
ever get it?
anything. No, I didn't get it. I went out on Record Store Day, and I was early. And when you got to like the record store I went to, you got there and there were like a couple people it looked like out front. So I was like, oh, not too bad, this is a possibility.
Sure.
And then when you rounded the corner, the line was 4 blocks long.
And
So,
could you tell that was it Taylor fans?
I
I mean, is
well,
that who was out there?
I think most of them were, yeah.
And
But
can we generalize and say just because what they look like, or
most of
was
them
everybody talking
were
about it?
females within my age or a little bit less, a little bit younger than I am. And it looked like if they had people with them, it was like a +1 that was just like, I just want to get the fuck out of this line. Um, so I am assuming, but I did go back the next day when there was no line.
Right.
And they just had like a piece of cardboard in the area where the record was, and it was like Taylor has left the building with like a sad face.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So that
So
one there, you said is going to be probably repressed, and then we can get our hands on that.
yes, I'm hoping because I really did like that one. If you have not seen it, it's on Disney Plus. I would recommend.
All right. Well, that'll be on my list as well. So let's get into a couple of the things that came up recently. We've already talked about your show tickets to Kansas City. Oh, before we get off of that though, who's the other person going? You said two tickets.
It is my friend that hooked me up with the
Ah,
signatures.
brilliant. Brilliant.
So I'm glad because, it's like a journey, right? We've been on this
Right.
journey for a long time and she wasn't sure if she was going to be able to go, and it's a go. So,
Well, that'll be fun. And then I think we talked about maybe even doing a follow-up podcast to that when you get back, because I am kind of curious what the experience will be for you. And I think you had mentioned before all the things that people take with them or make themselves and get it
hmm
signed or keep the confetti or something. And I'm
dude,
like,
it is crazy. So in Nashville, they had a rain show. It was the first one.
yeah,
And she plays through the rain. There was a delay for thunder or something for like 4 hours, but she
sure.
started really late and she played until like 3 a.m. or something. Some girl had like a cup and poured it into a water bottle, and I guess was trying to sell Taylor Swift Eras Tour Rain on eBay. And I actually looked this up to make sure like it was true because the
Sure.
clip that I saw, the guy was like, it's like 25,000 or $2,500 is like the running bid for it now, and I'm like, no fucking way. I need to see this for myself, but I could not find it.
Uh,
So I do not know if it was true or not, but in the back of my mind, I'm like, that's still kind of genius. And
oh, I
people are
mean,
like
anything.
collecting the confetti after the show is done and like
Right.
selling it on eBay. I have seen that. You can
Oh,
buy
yeah.
confetti. So it's just crazy what these people do. Here's my used gum from the Eras tour,
I
you
get
know?
it. I get it. There was the only thing that I have that relates to that was when I think it was Boston Red Sox played the Cardinals in the World Series and Boston won after I don't know how many years. And we had tickets to I think like game 4 of the World Series here or something. And for years I just had all of my souvenirs just downstairs in the basement like in a box. And I'm not a big sports souvenir guy or whatever. I ended up selling like my cup, my ticket stub. There was a couple other things I'm trying to remember that I just had from the game, and I ended up just putting it on eBay and selling it. And I think I made a few $100 off of it. And I'm like, pff,
That's crazy.
so
Rainwater.
rain,
Like, okay.
I would almost try it just to see.
I really
So
hope it rains in Kansas City. I really do, because I'm 1000% going to try to sell water on the internet.
I don't know. I mean, it sounds cool. It looks cool when I watched the Nashville show. It's the Nashville show, right?
Yeah.
That was rained on. It's cool to see her all wet and running around. I mean, it's just kind of a neat kind of a look. But I think I'd be miserable if I'm in the audience and I'm rained on and I'm just soaking wet and just I hate that feeling. I don't know
Yeah.
if I'd want that if I'm there.
You roll the dice. They
Yeah.
the Swifties love it. They get really excited. So,
Yeah, I'm very particular if you don't know. I
well,
want it
I'm
perfect.
old, right? So when I go to a concert, I want a seat, and I know already I am not going to be sitting at all.
You'll
I
be
bought a
standing the
seat
entire time.
for nothing.
Yeah.
So,
So so let's get into the two things that I wanted to talk to you about. First, this whole thing of I saw recently. And again, I get most of my pop culture what's trending or whatever on TikTok while TikTok's still available in Missouri. Um but lately I think in the last few weeks this thing about everybody questioning about canceling Taylor and I'm like, "What?" So I start kind of following the down the rabbit hole and I guess people have an issue with this boyfriend of hers, or is are they dating?
alleged,
Alleged. So
alleged.
tell me about what you know about that and canceling
Um,
Taylor. Can you cancel Taylor? You tell me.
so her and Joe are no more, right? Neither party has confirmed or denied that, but it is
Joe
apparent
who?
Joe Alwyn, the guy of 6 years,
Okay.
ex-boyfriend,
Okay.
Joe.
Okay.
And then in comes Maddie Healy, who is like the front man of the 1975, who happens to also be British.
Okay.
Um, Not that that's really relevant, but whatever. The last one was British, this one is British,
Sure.
just kind of weird. I have seen him perform. Not like I didn't go out of my way to see him perform. He was just at like this benefit show that I was at, and they were there. I did not like him at all. He was just weird. I don't know. He's weird. But the reason that the people are up in arms is because uh, he just is like historically not been really a great guy online. You know what I mean? Like they say he's a provocateur, that he just does stuff to like get a rise out of people, that he's eaten like raw meat on stage at his show, which I mean I don't really care about that. I've eaten raw meat before. So whatever. But
I think you've
like
offered to come over and take care of some pest issues, and you would eat it or something. But yeah, go ahead.
um like randomly will kiss his fans while he's performing. The big stuff is like he was on this podcast. I'm popping a sparkly bottle
Oh, you brought some nice stuff
of
there for the
Prosecco.
podcast. Very
Yes,
nice.
it is bejeweled in honor.
Please,
Anyways,
please
so
enjoy while we're doing it. That's good.
he was on this podcast and they were talking about I believe I think she's a rapper. Her name is like Ice Spice. I don't really know anything about her. I
Okay.
do know that she is I believe she is African American.
Okay.
But the whole podcast was like that
Holy
popped
jeez.
a lot sooner than I expected. So the whole podcast, like the guy that ran it he was like making fun of her, and I think her dad is African American and like her mom might be Asian, and he
So
called her like a
whose podcast was it? Hers,
no, it
or
was
they were
some
both
guy.
guests?
I was some guy. I don't remember what his name was. I saw it when I was reading about it.
Okay.
Adam, maybe something. But Maddie Healy was a guest,
Okay.
and they were talking about this girl, Ice Spice, and making kind of like racial comments about her. And somebody said she was like a chubby little Chinese person, and he called her dumb. And then, like Apple and Spotify, like just totally cut the podcast. Like they don't stream it anymore because
Oh,
they
really?
said it was so like controversial and racist.
Okay.
And then he later like made some half-assed apology statement, like, "Oh, hey, I heard I might have said something that offended you, like, my bad," type deal. So that was kind of a big one. The other one is probably, I mean, I don't know that she like ever has come out and said that she's like a feminist or anything, but obviously she says, stuff like fuck the patriarchy, and she has a video called The Man,
Okay.
or
Sure.
and there has been a time, it was like way back in the day, I think like maybe 2016, because they've been friends. Her and Maddie Healy have been friends.
So that's
Uh,
confirmed that they're at least friends.
yes, they are
Okay.
friends. They have worked together before.
Okay.
They have the same producer.
Okay.
So they do know each other. But like back in 2016, I think he was interviewing with somebody and they were like, "Oh, are you dating Taylor Swift?" And he was like, "It would be emasculating to be her boyfriend." Like, so I think that's why the Swifties are like losing it. They're like, why would you like even consider this sleazeball?
So these are Swifties. These are fans of Taylor's that are threatening to cancel her. Or see, that's why it doesn't make sense. I don't
No,
understand
I don't know
that
that
they may
anyone's
not
really
like the guy.
right. I think that they just really don't like the guy and they're like, are you okay? What are you doing? Like, you could do so much better than this guy. I
Okay.
mean, he was on another podcast where he was like, "Oh, in my spare time, what did he say? He was like, I really like watching, or I know I like masturbating to porn, where black women are being brutalized or something like that." It was just
Sure.
like weird, like really weird shit. And like once again, is he saying it, to get a
Because
rise
he's
out
on a
of people?
podcast trying to be
Right.
interesting.
There was he did some song that they sang on concert, he would do like a Nazi salute and sing like Kanye lyrics or like Kanye is so cool or something because he's like anti-Semitic or whatever, but
Hmm.
he just like Nazi salute across the stage. So there's some questionable behavior, and I think that's why the Swifties are up in arms. Oh,
So
he's
this,
like a heroin addict too.
oh well.
Just
So
minor,
the
minor detail.
Swifties are just a little upset over. You're saying potentially, so that's not confirmed that they're dating. They're just maybe
I
friends.
mean,
What do you think?
I don't know. I would hope not. I really thought when like the rumors first surfaced that I think that was like one of the first shows she did where she had Phoebe Bridgers come out and that was
Mhm.
like an opener for her.
Sure.
And I know that Phoebe Bridgers and him and her all work with the same guy, so it's kind of like, oh, maybe he's just there for her. Like she's
Right.
weird,
Right.
he's weird, they can be weird
Sure.
together. But like most recently, they were seen Taylor and Maddie leaving like a recording studio in New York together, and there's
That
like
could be
some
business,
oh well,
right?
hopefully recording music for
Sure.
an album. But then there was like a picture of the two of them like out, I think at a restaurant or something, and it looked like they might have been holding hands. And there's
Mm.
the Swiftie conspirators are like posting pictures of her and ex-boyfriend Joe Alwyn like leaving stuff. Like they were not really seen in public much. It was very hush hush. And
Sure.
she like made it a point to say like I'm just not going to discuss my relationship.
Right.
It's been a problem for me in the past. And so like the couple pictures that were popping up was like him leading and her like kind of with her head down the whole time. And then they're like comparing it to pictures of her walking out of stuff with Maddie Healy and she's like front and center and she's smiling and they're like, oh,
Right.
he makes her so happy. So I don't know. Apparently, I saw a video that he did go to the show in Pittsburgh and he did sit in like the VIP box with her
Yeah.
parents.
Sure.
There's actual video footage of him like talking to her dad and stuff. But some of the girls that were sitting like below the box were like yelling up at him, like, are you guys dating? Blink twice if it's a yes. And he like
Right.
blinked twice.
Right.
So was he fucking with him? I don't know.
Sure. Okay. So I mean, so that whole kind of canceled Taylor type thing that I've been seeing, that's more of just people maybe upset if this is true that they are in a romantic relationship. But I would imagine that they would probably just have a problem with her associating with him. From the sounds of some things, like it just doesn't
Yeah.
seem like her type of guy, or does it? I don't know. Does it?
I mean, he's definitely more of like I guess like the bad boy vibe, but really she has a history of dating guys that like just have not been great, right? Like John Mayer, he kind of sucks. Everyone that's dated John Mayer says he sucks. Jake Gyllenhaal, she was like devastated over that one. Uh, Really the only one I think that like, well, she's still on good terms with Joe Jonas, I believe.
Yeah.
Now anyway. But Taylor Lautner from Twilight, they
Yeah.
briefly dated Taylor and Taylor. And he actually
Sure.
married a girl named Taylor recently, so it's very
Oh,
cute.
did he? Yeah, interesting.
But Speak Now, there are a couple of Joe Jonas songs. It is the album that has the song Dear John on it, which is like the fuck you to John Mayer. And it
Okay.
has Back to December, which is the song that she wrote for Taylor Lautner, which is like a really nice one. Like
Eh,
if she could go back to December, she would not be
And
mean to
that's
him or whatever.
confirmed, right? Or is that
That is
people reading
confirmed.
between the
No,
lines?
no, that's confirmed. So
All right.
I believe it was like today, Taylor Lautner put out like a video on TikTok or something of like, so I guess somebody on like the Today Show had interviewed him because when she re-releases an album, there's always songs from the vault.
Yeah.
So she has already said that there's like 6 vault songs, and he is like, the lady was like, "Are you kind of nervous about like the re-release? Because Back to December is on it," and he's like, "No, I think I'll be okay, but I'm praying for John Mayer." And he put out a video of him in like a bathrobe or something, and he's just like praying while
Right.
the song is playing in the background. So I thought that was pretty cute.
Yeah. So obviously, who she dates is quite the inspiration for a lot of the songs that she's come up with. The vault is full of those, I bet.
Oh yeah.
It'll be nice to get some bonus stuff there. So the second thing I wanted to talk to you about, and this is just interesting because it's happened within the last couple of weeks, is the security guard thing. And has anybody determined, because I think I came across the actual girl on
Yeah, like a
TikTok
little blonde girl, if I remember
who
right.
had the issue with the security guard. So she came on and explained her side of things. And then like there's 20 different angles from everybody's cell phone of essentially when it happened, different angles of how it happened. And then now it's following the security guard out of the stadium. Everybody has video on it. It's like a Zapruder film of this guy.
He was ejected. I had heard, or I guess it was stipulated that the security guard might have been like a upper guy that was like
Right.
supposed to,
He was in
be
command
bossing
of some of
everybody
the
else.
smaller guy. Yeah, right.
Right. He had blue shirt on, right? But he was like bossing around all the green shirts or whatever.
Right.
And I guess from other people at the show that were nearby, he was giving everybody a hard time about like being too close to like the barrier thing.
Sure.
And I don't know, I guess she just picked the right time to be like, she's not doing anything, leave her
Right.
alone, and like yell at him. And then the security guards, I think, who he was supposed to be the boss of, ended up escorting him out of the stadium.
Yeah, somebody, I think maybe even above him or something, decided to pull him out. But it's so funny in a sense that now, is that going to be a new chant for when that song? What song was playing when that happened?
I believe it was Bad Blood.
So Bad
but
Blood.
I'm not positive. I think it was Bad Blood.
So when that song is playing now, going forward,
you could just hear people being like, she's not doing
anything, stop, or whatever,
Yeah.
There's so many little TikToks of girls reenacting that with the song playing, and I'm just like, everything is viral with Taylor Swift.
Yeah, we will certainly find out tomorrow. So
what do you mean tomorrow?
They do? Well, so I think there's a show tomorrow, right? So
okay, is there?
And it would have happened last week. So if anything is going to happen for the first time, it'll be tomorrow. And there have been shows. God, I don't remember which one it was, but I know during the set list she plays Marjorie, which is like a song for her grandmother that passed away.
Okay.
And I don't think that her grandmother ever was able to like see her really make it big.
Mm-hmm.
But when that whatever venue, somebody started something that was like, hey, when she plays Marjorie, we're going to hold up pictures of her grandmother. So like the people on the floor brought pictures of like her grandmother, and
right.
we're holding it up, and she's just like, holy crap, you guys are going to make me lose it.
Wow.
So there are show specific little thingies, I think, that are kind of happening.
That's kind of the crazy thing, is how much she puts into her shows, but then on the flip side, the fans will coordinate and do shit like that. And that's kind of cool, right?
Yep. It is very cool.
Yeah, it's just fascinating. I mean, everything that just surrounds her, any kind of content or whatever. And I think I go through periods to where if I'm on TikTok, if I watch just a couple videos, the algorithm's like, okay, we're going to force feed you like everything Taylor for the next few weeks or whatever. So I'm like, I'm seeing all this stuff and I'm like, okay, I've got to get on the podcast and get the scoop on all this stuff and make sure that I'm understanding all this,
Yes. If I stop you for a second so I can go pee, can you cut it out?
Yeah, I can cut it out. Yeah.
Okay, well, one second.
I'll keep this in for a clip, but
thanks.
I'll cut it out of the thing. Yeah, go for it.
I've had too much Busch Light.
Yeah, there you go. So while she's not, I'm going to give a play-by-play of when she goes to the bathroom or anything. This is the first time in 25 episodes maybe that we've done podcast-wise that we had to do a little intermission for a potty break. We've had it happen on our lives a few times, which our lives go on for, some of our lives have gone on for 3 or 4 hours. We're having that much fun. This is the first time on an actual podcast, but it's fine. I may keep this in for the YouTube people because they want to see everything. They want to see all the behind the scenes. But for the straight up audio podcast people, that you guys don't want to sit through this and listening to me monologue for the amount of time that she's gone. Because now everybody, so here's what's going to happen is if I keep this in, people are going to time how long she's in the bathroom. And so that's pressure, right? For her. She's like, oh my God. I gotta make sure that if I'm in here too long, people are gonna think other things. So I will have to edit this out. That's okay. Maybe I'll just edit out a little bit of it. It's so funny that my resident Taylor Swift expert is also my diagnose what killed the deer in my yard. The same person. Content magic partner.
Okay. Much better.
Yeah, there you go. I was just I was kind of monologuing for a bit just in case I do want to keep it in because I think it's kind of funny that this is the first time in all of my podcasts that somebody had to take an intermission break, which is fine.
I tried so hard. I have not had a single swig. I'm like, oh my God, my bladder's going to explode.
But I was saying, like, it's almost like when you go out on let's say a date and you have to go to the bathroom. Now, if you're only gone for a few minutes, but then you don't want to be gone for like too long because then you start thinking, well, what else is going on in there? So I was like, I don't know if I need to edit this out or not.
Well, if you come back super fast and you're like, well, did you wash your hands?
Oh, I didn't even think about that. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, I did, by the way.
You're sitting there and she comes back in like 40 seconds. You're like, oh my gosh, you're nasty.
Oh shit. I don't know if you could hear the dog barking in the background either.
I've got dogs too that end up barking, and there's always random noises. I mean, it's not like this is a $1 million podcast setup.
Yet.
We're both in. Not yet. I don't know. I mean, our third episode together, I think I don't want to set the bar too high, but I will say, I mean, the expectation is for us to at least get some listens.
I'm going to tell all 3 of my friends to give it a go.
So we talked about the 2 main pressing things that I had that I wanted to discuss with you. I want to briefly, and then we'll keep it a tight hour here. I want to know, do you have right now like a set plan for you and your friend for this concert? Like, are you guys going to go spend the night before in Kansas City?
No.
Like, this is like a big home game for Mizzou or something, to where you go the night before, you're game planning, where are we going to tailgate, where are we going to go out and drink?
So that is a very big like week-ish for me because it's my birthday on July 3rd. And then Taylor is on the 8th. But also somehow I have lined up Fall Out Boy tickets like 2 days after Taylor, and I just got tickets to Post Malone like 2 days after Fall Out Boy.
And I know you're a big Post Malone fan.
Oh, I love him. I've seen him. Yep. This will probably be like my 6th time seeing him, maybe.
Where are the locations for the other 2 concerts?
So, well, there's one other one that I wanted, and I was like kind of on the fence about it, and I had finally committed to like a place. I wanted to see Morgan Wallen, and I was torn between seeing him in Pittsburgh because I really liked the people he was opening with, or seeing him here because the tickets were half the cost. And I had finally decided that I was just going to pull the trigger on tickets for St. Louis. And literally, like an hour later, he's like, I'm canceling 6 weeks of my tour because my voice hurts. I'm like,
really?
Fuck. So he would not have canceled St. Louis, but he would have canceled that Pittsburgh show had I bought tickets. So I'm glad I did not. Because I like
Yeah.
had a flight lined out. I had it planned to where I would fly out at the ass crack of dawn that day, get
Right.
there, go to the concert, literally like leave the stadium and get back on a plane to get back to St. Louis to go to work.
Oh, geez.
Um,
That's too
but that's
much.
not happening anymore
Yeah.
because it was like on a Wednesday night. I'm like,
Right.
weird, okay. But the St. Louis show happens after his 6 week window of like recovery, and I'm just not like I really want to go, but I'm not sure if 6 weeks are over and he's like, oh well, turns out I need a little
Right.
more time or
Right.
whatever. So we'll just have to play it by ear. But the plan right now is to fly to Tulsa on the 7th. My friend lives in Tulsa.
Okay.
So for me to drive from St. Louis and for her to drive from Tulsa to Kansas City would be the same amount of time.
Okay.
So I was like, I'll just fly. We can road trip together. No big deal. Because right after Taylor, we're driving to Arkansas to see Fall Out Boy. And then I was like, on the way back from Fall Out Boy, you could just dump me at the airport. There's like a 5 a.m. flight. No problem. So that is the current plan.
That's a lot of stuff going on.
Yeah, and then 2 days later is Post Malone, which is at Hollywood Amphitheater. So at least it's here.
So when you go to concerts, are you the kind that gets like just shit faced and stuff? Like I don't know.
No, no, like I want to remember it, Like I will have a couple drinks, but mind you, like a fucking Truly there is like $35. Okay, that's
Yeah.
exaggerating. It's like $16, but that's
Yeah.
still a lot.
Ridiculous. Right.
So I'll have a couple usually, and then, and plus it's like a long time, right? And you sit in your seat for most of it. I would say for me during a concert, uh, I probably get a drink or two drinks, maybe
Yeah.
twice, maybe three times, depending on the venue, depending on the set list. Really, I'll like if I plan it right, I'll just go during a song that I don't love, so then I don't feel like I'm missing anything.
Sure.
And you got to factor in bathroom breaks after that. Like
Yeah.
at the beginning of this, before anyone really knew how long she was going to be singing for, and then when they found out how long she sang for, I saw videos of people like, they're like, what are you going to do about the bathroom? And they're like, I'm wearing Depends.
What
I'm
is
not leaving.
how long is her show then?
It
Just
is,
her.
uh, it's over 3 hours. It's like 3 hours and 15 minutes, I think, on average.
But she doesn't do it 3 hours
Or is
straight.
it, I think it's 4 hours.
Does she
I
take a
gotta look it up.
break? Is it like a
She
intermission?
has there are two people that open for her. So I think they both play for half an hour apiece.
Okay.
And I don't know if it's like I don't know if there's somebody that plays in the middle, right? Like she
Right.
plays half and then somebody plays and then
Sure.
she finishes because I've been trying not to watch
Get
for
too much.
that.
Right. No, I get it.
Yeah. Um I have been keeping track of the surprise songs, and that's really about it, unless something pops up that's like, I did see the security guard. I'm like, whatever.
Right.
Um, I think it's like 3 hours and 15 minutes.
But you're talking 3 hours, 15 minutes for the entire concert. Or are you
So
talking 3 hours, 15 of her?
her,
Wow. I mean,
3 hours and 19 minutes is the average show length right now. There are like 44 songs that she does. That's a long time.
have you ever come across anybody that's gone to one of her shows and then paid a lot of money and then they said it just wasn't worth it?
No, I have seen for this tour the people that purchase the VIP package.
Yeah.
Like, so when you purchase the VIP, there's always like a gift thing that they send you.
Sure.
That the people were really disappointed in the VIP thing. That it
Oh.
was like mostly like paper, like there's confetti and there's a poster and there's like whatever. And I think the only like real physical thing was maybe like a t-shirt and a tote bag. And then I also have seen videos of people that like wait in line to buy the merchandise and like the first time they wash it, it just looks like shit. I will
I think
not be purchasing merchandise. I
I think we
personally
talked about
think
that last time, and then you said that like if you contact her merchandise people or something, they'll send you another one or
I think
whatever.
so, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not buying any merch aside from probably the glowy bracelet.
Yeah.
I think all the merch for this show is really ugly. Sorry.
But there's got to be something else too that you can.
Uh, well, I want that bracelet. There's a bracelet for the tour that, the glowy bracelet.
So that's just
Um,
that's like an Eras bracelet
but she
specific
had
to
it
you.
at other tours also, and she brought it back for this one. So you buy this bracelet, and then you pull the tab, and then throughout the show, it's got like some computer chip in it, so
Yeah.
that the people that are running the show transmit like what color it's supposed to do at what time. So
Cool.
like when she announced "Speak Now" at the end of the thing, everybody's bracelet turned purple because that's like the color for the album.
Right.
So I'll probably buy the bracelet, and that's where I'll leave it. I'm hoping for the bracelet, and I'm hoping to pick up confetti because I'd like to do like a little picture box thing for the wall. I think
What
that'd be pretty cool.
now? I don't know if we talked about this on the last podcast. If you guys didn't hear our first podcast, you'll need to go back and listen to that one there because we kind of went through Taylor's career and all the the Kanye stuff and how she started in country and all that good stuff. Um, now I just lost my train of thought of what I was going to ask you on that.
Was it about the bracelets?
Oh no! But it was about you had brought up in one time. This is because I don't know if you brought it up on a podcast or if you brought it up in my DM or whatever. Like something like a people are making these bird houses or something to where they keep.
Oh yeah, it was just
Explain
like
that.
it was a little like house thing that you could buy from like Target in like the dollar section. So they were turning it into what the Lover House looks like, and it's like a
Okay.
shadow box thing. So they were like, I'm gonna take all the friendship bracelets that I trade for at the concert and put them in my Lover House, and then like put it on my shelf. So it's like a cool way
Mm,
to store them.
right.
So
Is that too much for you, or would you do that?
I am thinking about making some bracelets to trade, but I'm not gonna like. I mean, there are people that are making like that. They're like, me and my 1,000 bracelets are gonna be at this parking lot before the show. If you guys want to meet me and trade, like, no, I'm not doing that. If I see somebody and they want to trade, cool, but I'm not gonna be like, meet me in the parking lot to trade
So
bracelets.
you're trading bracelets with other people that are there, but you're trading because they're all unique.
You all make your own. So I mean,
Okay.
I've seen ones that just say like the album names. The
Okay.
really funny ones are like the ones that are like, fuck Scooter or like fuck John Mayer or whatever.
Those are the ones I think you
Those
would
are
go
pretty
for.
funny. Yeah, I would like the bad,
Yeah.
not safe for work bracelets. Those are pretty cool. Or they're just like the letters like of lyrics in the song,
Yeah.
so it'll just be like IK YWTW Yeah, so like that would be I knew you were trouble when you walked in,
Right.
right? And then like you get this bracelet and you see these letters and you're like, fuck, now I have to figure out what this is.
Oh,
Unless the person is nice enough to tell you.
it's so worth the money. It just sounds like it is. You know what I'm saying? There's just so many layers upon layers of entertainment for what you're paying.
Have you
And
seen some of the shit people are wearing to this?
um it's it's hard because it's the videos. Most of the videos are just young girl videos. The ones that I kind of like that are kind of fun for me that resonate with me are the behind the scenes stuff or when things go wrong or like when people catch a dad dancing with his little girl or something. They're like,
That's cute.
somebody needs
So
to
many
make sure nothing happens
proposals.
to this dad. And this 45-year-old dad is, kind of just dancing with his little 8-year-old girl or 10-year-old girl or something. I don't know.
hmm
Um, so yeah, I think those are kind of cute, but
Lots of proposals happening. Lots of
really,
proposals. Oh yeah. Love story proposals are a big one. Somebody else got engaged to something that I saw that was not love story. Oh, I think it was Enchanted. Um,
where
but
the
yeah,
where the boyfriend will propose or whatever
during
right
the
then and
concert.
there.
Yeah, like I saw the one guy, the one that did it during Enchanted, I think like slipped the girl next to him like a note that says, "Can you record?"
Yeah.
During this, so they have it like from from this girl that's like
Sure.
behind, next to him. So he's actually on the knee, and you can see, the girl like crying and
Oh my
whatever.
God. If you come across these videos, obviously send them to
Oh,
me, man. I'd
I
be
will for
curious.
sure send. Yeah,
Now
but
that I'm
the
hooked into this.
outfits, like the outfits are just crazy. Like some of them, most of them are like people wearing sparkly stuff or whatever. But
Yeah.
the guy that dressed up as a willow tree, I love.
Yeah.
Uh,
Okay.
there's there was one girl that dressed up. I don't know if you've ever seen the video footage of Taylor Swift. I think she was on like maybe the Ellen show, but she had gotten her wisdom teeth removed, and
Okay.
her mom recorded her. So she's
Yeah.
like wearing this like weird sweater and these like oh no, she got LASIK. So she's
Uh,
wearing this like weird sweater and those like big glasses,
yeah.
and she's like talking about this banana. So this girl like makes it's like a brown sweater that looks like a bear or whatever.
Right.
So she puts on these weird glasses and she carries a banana around or whatever, and that's like her outfit to the tour. And I was just laughing my ass off.
That's
Like
hilarious.
that's the
That
kind of
is.
stuff I like.
That is
Some
funny.
girl dressed up as the whole keychain that said "fuck the patriarchy."
Right. So
So
so to end our podcast, do you know at this point what you're gonna wear?
I
Yeah.
do. I am going subtler. I am doing maroon. So the lyric is like the burgundy on my t-shirt when you splash the
Yeah.
wine into
Right.
me.
Right.
So I'm basically going to get like a gray t-shirt, and there's going to be like a pocket or something with a carnation and a rose, because later in the song, it's like the carnations you thought were roses, and I'm
Right.
just going to take a nice big glass of like Pinot Noir and throw it all over this thing. And probably wear like jean shorts because it's going to be July
Yeah.
and it's
Right.
going to be hot.
Yeah.
And I think I'm going to bedazzle cowboy boots in maroon rhinestones. And I haven't decided if I'm going to do cowboy boots yet. Like just get a shitty pair from the thrift store in case they look like crap and I never wear
Yeah.
them again. Or if I'm going to do Crocs.
Mm.
I'm like really torn on this. Maybe you could be a poll. Should I
Well,
bedazzle Crocs or should I bedazzle cowboy boots?
well, if it's all the same and it didn't take too long, maybe you just do both and then you take them both
I
just in
don't know that I want
case.
to carry all that shit, you know?
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Well, I will put in a request if you even remember this on the day of, like, I want our own Tossing Solid podcast photo of you in the stadium getting. Now I can't expect one to where Taylor's like in the background singing or something, but just you inside, maybe just you waiting or something, and just a unique photo for Tossing Solid podcast that we can put up and say, look, the person that we've talked to in this journey, she's there right now enjoying.
I'll
You know what
think
I'm
of
saying?
something. I'll think of
Yeah.
something. Yeah, I will. I am planning on recording a lot of stuff from there, like cool outfits that I see or like cute bracelets or whatever. I think it'll be
Definitely.
pretty cool. So
Yeah, it'll be fun.
me and my two spare phone chargers are ready to go.
You're prepared for sure. So,
Yeah.
well, I appreciate you coming on again midweek here and keeping us informed on Taylor Nation. And again, I I've had a handful of people that initially just mentioned to me when when I just said, I think I'm going to do a Taylor Swift podcast. And like, what? And we talked about this. Like, there's a lot of people that just hate her for just hating her, and then there was a few people that were just like, well, how does that even mesh with, like, it came out of left field, and I'm just like, I'm interested in the phenomenon, and I think I'm kind of getting into it a little bit more. I've always kind of just liked her music, but I haven't gotten into it until recently, and I think probably since you and I started talking, then I got all 4 Midnight albums. So
Keep following along. She won't disappoint. She's
yeah,
actually said in an interview before, like, she plans everything at least 3 years in advance. That's insane to me.
I bet. I bet it
Like,
is.
I don't even know what I'm gonna eat for dinner tomorrow.
Okay, so my last question to you, and then I'm gonna let you go. My last question to you. Can can Taylor, can she grow old? Can she
I don't
age out
know.
of all this and just become kind of irrelevant?
I don't know. I mean, like, look at Dolly Parton, you know? She's, I don't know how many years old, but pretty old, and she's still a big deal. They just
Yeah.
didn't they just put like Martha Stewart on the cover of like Sports Illustrated swimsuit? She's 80.
Yeah, but honestly, would Martha Stewart be where she's at without her going to jail? Wasn't
Snoop
that the,
Dogg, I think Snoop Dogg did a lot for her too.
but that all stemmed from that. That all
Yeah,
came from, something like that happening. I'm just kind of
right.
curious, can Taylor, and she has so far. I mean, obviously she went from country to pop, and then she went from, preteen type music to her music maturing and then taking a lot of her fans with her and getting older fans as well. Can she go even the next step further? Can she still maintain being relevant going forward, or will people be like, not that I'm relating her to, like, let's say, Katy Perry, which
hmm
it's nowhere close, but Katy Perry's kind of done.
I feel like if she has a kid, maybe. Like people have kids, they settle down, they, want to raise a
Yeah.
family, whatever. Then work kind of is like, I don't really want to do that anymore. I want to raise my family. But if she does not and maybe starts to kind of fall, I guess, I don't know that she really does a whole lot of collaborations, I guess, with other people, like other artists.
Mm-hmm.
So my guess would be if she is kind of falling and there's a new rising star, maybe that could be a possible collaboration to
Yeah.
just put her name back, in the scene. I don't know. I hope not. I like her.
Well, I love the fact that you mentioned her with Dolly Parton, in a sense that, I think Dolly has gotten bigger as a mogul, you know,
Oh yeah.
and the whole thing with everything that she does more outside of kind of entertainment and become that type of person.
Right.
So
Yeah. Like maybe if it's not music, it'll be some like cat shelter. I don't know. Something.
right,
Something just totally different.
middle of
But
Tennessee, Taylor Land or
I mean
something,
they all like like even the
Taylorwood.
actresses, they act and then they stop acting as much and then they start like a book club or a blog or a clothing line or skincare or whatever.
Yeah. I just, we don't have time for this, but I'll end on, I think it's different for men and women. I think men generally in the spotlight, out in the entertainment industry, have more options as they get older, whereas the women, it's kind of harder for them. We'll see. Maybe we'll talk about this on the next episode too. So who knows?
All right.
But all right. Well, I appreciate it. If you can stay, we're at the end of the podcast here. Just stay here for just a second. I'm going to hit end. The outro section of the podcast. This is where probably 90% of the people will tune out and exit after the fantastic interviews that we have. I'll keep it short and simple for you guys. By any chance there was an episode, this might have been the one that you guys took some enjoyment out of, and you're like, you know what, these are pretty cool. I enjoy getting to know some of these people. If you've enjoyed any of these episodes, those of you that have listened to the very end and you know these outros, here's my invitation to you. Whatever social media platform that you guys use most of the time, whether it's Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, if you can find the Tossing Salad podcast, that would help tremendously if you could follow and or subscribe. Costs nothing, and it helps the channel not only get certain things open and activated, but it gets the word out to where there's something going on here. We're going on our 6-month anniversary of the podcast. We're having a really good time doing these, and we're trying to get some traction, whether it's on YouTube, Instagram, TikTok. So if there is a platform that you really like, that you use all the time, find the Tossing Salad podcast if you don't mind. And if you want bonus points, I'll tell you what, if you're on multiple platforms, find us. Tossing Salad podcast, follow, subscribe. That would really help us out. We'll see you guys next time.